Hello everyone. I'd like to discuss a issue that happened on quite a large project where the files are much bigger than the files that I currently have on my hub or on my project on the cloud in Autodesk Construction Cloud, where the supply chain ran into a bit of a hiccup just in terms of how long a file started to process. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to replicate this on my own system. The files are too small. But note the following, that we are using Collaborate Pro. So we are also using the functionality that we've got for the project files, in the sense that they are getting clash detected at the same time as what we are sharing them from within the shared folder. So the shared folder is set up as a clashed folder, and these are the unilaterally shared packages come and sit in these folders over here, and then they're automatically clash detected. So it's not a multilaterally agreed clash detection that is occurring. So as soon as somebody shares a package, it comes and sits in here and it's clash detected. So there's an extra layer of processing that's happening to the files online. Where the problem came in was with one of the teams who had to necessarily change their file name. So they had a very large model within their team folder. In their case, this model was close on a gig. And what they had done is they'd had to rename this model. So I've got a file convention, a naming convention, so I have to validate this file while I'm renaming it. And we're just going to change the number of the file there and save this file. So at this stage, their file was then shared from within Collaborate. And it's a simple process to share a file, but because they'd renamed the file, a lot of processing happened in the background. And exactly how that error happened is they would click on their own company name, of course, create a new package. They'd added the renamed file. You'll see how the renamed file now updates on the let's quickly create that. There's the model. We choose the model to share. We save that model. And we share that model. You can see it's got the right name now. Right, so after sharing the package, their file went into quite a long holding pattern. And that little round circle just kept on staying there. So what happened to the other teams is when they then consumed this model, it also just kept on rotating while this file was busy processing. Now obviously changing the name had changed a lot within their system, and we suspect also that the clash detection would have played a role in that. And when they opened their docs folder, they found that the consumed file was just processing, and they had to leave it for almost half a day before it had finished processing. This isn't typically the case even with similar files when the file names are kept the same. That's important to note. And in this case, you can see that the file should have processed by now. The file has already processed. But again, it's updated the file name. So when you change the file name, it also changes the file name within your consumed folder over there. And that's really what this is all about. So I can't replicate the error for you, but I just want to warn you that if you are going to rename files, then please just beware and note that you might run into a problem that it's going to take a long time to recover. And just looking at the version history over here, you can see that the file name previous to this was 1 and then 4 zeros and 1. Before that it was just zeros and 1, and then again the latest one is just zeros and 1. So it does change the file name of the same file. It's stored within the history. So that's something else to take into account as well. But it became a problem because the file was just processing for an enormously long time. Just be careful with, if you are going to be using large Revit files to share, try and name your files correctly from the very beginning as best you can. Don't just give it a name and then think that it's going to be without hassle, especially when you are sharing packages. It pays to use the right name from the very beginning. It is a unique project in the sense that it is a very large project, but I think if you want to steer clear of issues like that, try and adopt a file naming standard so that you don't run into issues like that. I hope you've enjoyed this short demonstration. I do apologize for not being able to replicate, as I don't have such large files, but I think we have demonstrated to you that renaming a file overwrites the file history. So changing the file name also changes the file name within your own folder as well as within the consumed folder, but that might, and I stress might, it might cause a delay within the process when you do that. So if you are on a tight time schedule, plan your work from the beginning, name the file correctly, and then everything should be all right. Until next time, enjoy the Autodesk Construction Cloud.